Singapore is a multicultural country of more than 4 million people. Strategically located within a 7-hour plane ride is the rest of Asia, where more than half of the world's population live. The Lion City has become a launching pad for the gospel.
Our opportunities are tremendous with the growing numbers of foreigners in the country. 80 to 90% of Singaporeans still need to hear the gospel in a way that is relevant to them. With the locals and foreigners within our reach, the doors are open for the gospel to spread within and beyond Singapore.
I think God has uniquely positioned Singapore as a crossroads in this part of Asia. I think that's why Singapore is the city it is today, commercially and in every way a centre for this part of the world. And I love the thought of seeing the gospel planted in the lives of men and women in Singapore, spreading out from here into the various countries around, carrying the good news of Jesus and his kingdom into the lives of men and women all over the place.
The Navigators today are in campuses, neighborhoods, churches, nations, and the marketplace. Its disciple-making legacy began with one man's faith journey. Roy Robertson and his family landed on the shores of Singapore in August 1962.
And I read in Genesis 13:17 that it says, "Walk through the land, the length of it and the breadth of it, and I will give it unto you." I said, I would like to claim that promise from the Lord. I looked at Singapore. It's only about 16 miles from downtown Singapore, all through Bukit Timah, on up to Johor Bahru. And so on November 11th, I decided to take Sunday, the whole day off, and walk from downtown Singapore all the way through. I began at the World War I Memorial. There were ships still coming in. I said, oh God, these ships are going around the world with cargo. Lord, I pray that the day will come when from Singapore we'll send men and women of God that will go to all the places where these ships are going and send people with the message of the gospel. And then I began to walk on Bukit Timah till I came to the Kranji Memorial way at the other end, and there a big memorial, 22,000 people. So I stopped and went in and saw the names of all these people. I said, Lord, if 22,000 people, that time is under the British Crown, 22,000 people will give their lives for a kingdom that will not be permanent. The British Crown no longer rules in Singapore. Lord, I pray that 22,000 men and women can be raised up from Singapore that will put Jesus Christ as first in their life and be willing to go from here and around the world to give their lives for the Lord Jesus. I believe God has answered the prayer.
Since Roy Robertson's arrival in 1962, God has used the Navigators to raise up many generations of laborers.
I see that the foundations that have been laid over the years will continue to future generations, where we will see laborers of a special kind, people who love God with a passion, people who are committed to following Him for a lifetime. This certain kind of laborer who is Christ-like, who is godly, who is maturing and growing, and these laborers will be everywhere.
The calling of the Navigators is
to advance the gospel of Jesus and His kingdom
into the nations,
through spiritual generations of laborers,
living and discipling amongst the lost.
The future is as bright as the promises of God. We are already seeing a vital movement of the gospel in Singapore and in the nations. What a privilege to co-labor with God. With His empowering, we will do all that we can to raise and plant laborers for His kingdom next door to everywhere.